So the UK budget has clobbered farmers. Now, is this something that we as property investors should be worried about, or does it present hidden gems of opportunity for us? To discuss that, I'm joined by John Howard. Hi, John.
Hello there, how are you?
Now, we've discussed this a little bit, and we have different opinions, so we're going to have a bit of a Barney.
I spent 20 minutes in the car speaking to you the other. I wasted 20 minutes. I don't know what I was doing, talking to you, and all you just disagreed with me. So I put the phone down. I thought, what's the point? Anyway,
he hung up on me. Anyway, subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, and tell us what you think about this farmers' crisis. Now, John.
Yes.
Let's just explain a little bit about what's happened.
Yeah.
Farmers have never been subject to inheritance tax.
Absolutely, they have.
And now they're clobbered if their farms are more than £1 million. There was good reason for this. I think after the Second World War, they wanted to encourage food production in the UK. And across Europe, that was the underpinnings of the Common Agricultural Policy. And it was all about saying to farmers, produce, because that's what ends rationing, that's what ends food security. And the idea of not subjecting farms to inheritance tax is all about saying, well, if you have to sell the farm to pay the IHT, then you're going to have less of a farm. You will never, farms have to be of a certain size to be economically viable. And once you start losing farms, you can't get them back. I can't one day say, I'm going to start a farm. You can't assemble the land.
Well, with the money you can, yeah, of course you can.
You can't find it all in one block.
Well, I don't actually agree.
But anyway,
with
go
all
on.
that. So I think there's two distinct types of farmers. They're the arable farmers.
The horrible farmers.
I didn't say that. I've got a few friends who are that, and they're not going to like this. They're not going to like this video. That's for sure. We're putting out.
Share it with friends of John. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to like it. So, there's the large arable farmers, okay, and then there's the livestock farmers. The livestock farmers work very hard. Sheep, cattle, milking, hard work, and they are potentially, to be fair, the smaller farms. Okay. Now, why should a farmer who's got £3 or £4 million worth of assets, okay, pay less inheritance tax than you're going to pay as a property investor? Why?
I think because what we've got to look at is food security for the nation. Rather than us as individuals, we've got to look at us as a country and producing a bedrock of food here in the UK that doesn't have to be imported. And the farms, the value is held in the asset rather than necessarily the cash flow. And it's quite hard to find people that want to do farming. So, it tends to be a generational type of business. People grow up on the farm, people learn that trade, and they get good at it. It's difficult to attract new people into that sector. So I think to keep the farms, the integrity of the farms as a whole, is very, very important for us as a nation so that we continue to grow the bulk of our food at home here in the UK. Because if in times of trouble, we're an island nation, we don't want to risk potatoes and things coming from abroad.
So you think someone with 100 acres really is going to make a big difference to the farming industry?
It's a drip effect.
Well,
I don't think
my daughters or your daughters that are going to inherit your property empire, or my empire of sorts, are going to agree with you. I really, really don't. The other thing is they're only paying 20% tax, whereas you and I are paying 40% tax on inheritance. So that's the first.
Here's the thing. I disagree with inheritance tax across the board.
So do I.
But let's say you have X number of properties and you sell a few to pay the tax. You've still got a portfolio. The issue with farming is if you have to sell a massive chunk, sometimes a chunk, you can't exactly sell 20% because there may not be a buyer for it because that's not economically viable. There are all sorts of issues.
Listen, most of these farmers have only done one thing right in their lives, and that's come out the right womb. They've inherited, right? They've not paid no tax. They bleat about not making any money out of the farm. Well, if you're not making any money out of a business, if you're not making any money out of a business, or I'm not making any money out of a business, I get rid of it. I sell it. Get rid. So I don't see that. I think I've got no sympathy for them as well. Now, Rachel Reeves was on television on Sunday. She explained it's even better for farmers than the paper's made out. The reason is they get the same house allowance, if you like, that everyone gets 780,000 or whatever because you've got a house. That's the first thing. If you're a married couple, they then get £1 million each tax relief. So they don't pay. So unless a farm is worth over 3 million and it's jointly owned, they don't pay any tax. So why the hell is that?
I can't believe you're supportive of Rachel Reeves' policy. Now listen, I'm not going to go into my side on this argument. I did a video on this a couple of days ago.
Oh, can I stop? No, I've got to stop you.
20,000 views. The link is here. Watch this afterwards. We'll put a link in
I've got to stop you there. I've never seen anyone look so uncomfortable in the countryside as you. It's the first time you've ever seen a field, isn't it?
No. It's lovely in the rolling fields and a farm.
Have you got a John Deere tractor like me?
I've driven a tractor. I don't have a tractor.
Well, I do. So, and I live around farmland and I've got quite a few acres of my own. So at the end of the day, I'm immersed in all this. But, you know, if farmers aren't making any money out of their 100 acres, their paltry 100 acres, which is only worth £1 million, by the way, at 10,000 acres, not bad, is it? Plus a house. Now, what they do have, and where the advantage is for us property investors and developers, they have a lot of outbuildings.
Ah, the vulture end.
The vulture fund.
You want to pick up the outbuildings and PD them?
Of course I do. Well, you're the PD expert, so you can tell me whether we can get planning on them or not. The government have been really kind to these farmers and allowed them to convert really quite modern buildings into the most ghastly looking properties you'd ever see in your life, because they've got to remain the same shape and look the same, although they could be residential. It's absolutely bonkers. If you're going to allow a farmer to convert a modern farm building, at least let them put something on there that people want and that it's attractive and isn't going to cost a fortune to build. But I know a number of farmers, only small farmers, who have cashed in. They've either sold the whole damn farm to, you know, property guys and people like us who've got some money and want a farm to live in. Why did they want a farm with land? So because there wasn't going to be any inheritance tax. I went to school with Dyson, Mr. Dyson. Mr. Dyson.
He really cleaned up.
He did clean up in many ways. He was older than me, but he's just given my old school 15 million, by the way. But he has bought up literally thousands and thousands of acres in Lincolnshire to avoid inheritance tax. So that's where all this comes from in the first place, from the Labour government. They're spiteful. That's what they are. They are spiteful. I accept that. But I do think farmers should pay the same inheritance tax as everybody else.
So there's some farmers' protests, and I've just thought of a property investing strategy, perhaps. There's a farmer protest in London. So we could actually go down there, you and I, with some leaflets, target older farmers with grey hair and all of that, and basically say, look, we'll buy your outbuildings and barns and all of that, and offer you some a nice cash sweet deal, and that will help them pay their IHT.
It will, absolutely will. And by the way, they've been selling off farm buildings for residential for the last 30, 40, 50 years. You know, it's been happening all the time. They get massive tax relief. And don't forget, if they manage to sell their land for housing, they're getting up to 40 times what it's worth as agricultural land. 40 times. And by the way, they pay no tax on that. Do you know why they pay no tax? Because they roll it over into another business. It's a disgrace.
So you're saying we're shafted as property investors.
Totally shafted.
So should they.
Well, I won't be driving my John Deere tractor down to London to protest. It probably wouldn't get there, to be fair. It's 16 years old. But I won't be driving it down to London to protest with them, because at the end of the day, they've had it too good for too long, and they still got it too good because they're paying half of the tax that we pay. Why should we pay less tax than them?
Okay, well, listen. Tell us what you think. I'm not going to put my side.
Agree with me.
I've got a video on farmers, and I've presented a case for why the government might be trying to fragment farms. So watch that video, and then in the comments below, what do you think? Should we be bothered that farms get split up like this? Will it affect our food security? Or do you think it's right that IHT is equally bad for everybody. And there may be some silver linings of PD, permitted development conversions of agricultural buildings. Tell us what you think.
Can I just finish by saying, I cannot believe you are supporting farmers. You don't know any farmers. You don't even, you're a city boy, a town boy.
Well, I think after my last video, maybe some farmers might reach out and want to be my friend.
Well, I think they will suddenly. You've obviously got to deal with some land or some farming, haven't you? That's what you've got.
I think
farm buildings.
There is a, there are some funny things going on. You know, in America, Bill Gates has been hoovering up farmland. He's the largest private owner of farmland in the US, nearly some 250,000 acres. He came to see Keir Starmer a week before the budget, and this was reported in the newspapers here. No one exactly knows what he was talking about. This farm tax wasn't in the manifesto. It wasn't talked about in the run-up.
No.
Bill Gates is picking up farmland in Ireland and also in Holland. Was he and Bill Gates and Keir Starmer are both members of the WEF and signed up to their agenda? Was this part of some deal?
Well, can I also say, don't forget, farmers get subsidies for not growing anything. If they can put a solar farm up, they soon swap over from growing food to putting solar farms up, where they can earn £1,000 an acre per year. That's what they can earn out of solar farms. So no sympathy.
Okay. Tell us where you stand on farmers in the comments below. That's it for this video. See you guys next time.